It goes so far to say those that destroy the earth, the Lord will destroy them. So yes, this matter should be taken very serious. But, you know, we've got to look at all the suppressed clean technology, which is a matter of fact, which is a matter of record. Understand these people don't want the problems to go away, and dirty fuel is a problem. Nuclear fuel is at the top of that heap. This is horrible. You know, all this fear from Fukushima and all this. So understand what we're up against here, folks, and what it's going to take to turn this thing around. And to always maintain, in the meantime, this parallel reality like Jesus talked about. The kingdom of heaven within us. You know, protect that with all your being, with all your essence. And know this thing will turn around. But we're going to go through a very trying, troubling period for a while, known as the tribulation in the Bible. Well, we're having this clash of civilization that these people are, see, that's another part of how they're, you know, they're just coming out of the closet now. They're just, yes, we're doing all this. We're creating war everywhere, discontent, destabilizing all over the world, bringing in all these desperate immigrants and refugees, and, you know, posing as the good guys when we're letting our own native sons and daughters, our own citizens, among them many veterans, die out on the street. This is a matter of fact. The housing authority, I've heard in some areas, 10-year waiting list for people to house the homeless. And it'd be cheaper just to, you know, put all these unemployed people that would love to be serving in some capacity to build houses for the government that get paid for, instead of paying landlords in perpetuity by subsidizing the housing costs through paying this rent, you see, and then they need more taxes, the snake eating its tail. So this is where, you know, the government says, well, you know, they've been promoting high property costs, you know, this is good because we get a bigger tax base. That's all logical. You see, so their complicity is self-explanatory why they would do it. And it's, you know, because we all know why real estate agents would do it, bigger commission. Lenders would do it, bigger commission. They get to rent out more money. And we all know why developers would do it. We all know why landlords would do it. You understand? And we all know why the innocent homeowner would go along with it. So we've all acted unscrupulously. We're all money lovers. Okay, let's get over it. God understands these things. We've got to turn to Him for His mercy and grace. I do it all the time for other areas of my life, because it's only by His will, by His grace that I stand. Because I'm as weak and pathetic and pitiable as the next guy. It's a human condition that God allows. It's written in Scripture like that. Because in our weakness, somehow His strength is perfected in our lives. He wants us to turn to Him, feel our need for Him. And that's where we have to go. At the end of the day, I mean, if our lives ended today, we've got to be willing to let it all go and say, God, I tried, but I failed. And that's it, because I failed, even if I've been speaking out since I was a little child about these issues. And though I've had kind of a grasp on them my whole life, since the mid-60s when I was a small child, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old. And, you know, I remember the assassination of JFK when I was 5 years old. So I know things have been bad. But, you know, even if I have been, I've failed. I failed. We've all failed collectively. Nobody has come up with a silver bullet to turn this thing around. And there's a lot of good people out there, well-meaning, just decent human beings, a lot of famous people that are good, a lot of rich people that are good. There's a lot of people in the establishment that are good. And these are the people that are, they're the glue that's keeping the fabric of society together. Otherwise, this whole thing would fall apart. It's by the hand of God that things are even, have any cohesion at all at this point, that any of us can think straight. Because this is ridiculous, folks. This trajectory we're on is a bad thing. And we've all just got to wake up to that fact, that reality, that we've got to confront it, even if we fail. It's a very serious matter. We should all be very sober-minded and go into this thing with a lot of humility. You know, we can't be particularly cavalier about it. We've got to be resolute and determined that we're going to be heard, and we're going to, you know, as a white hat, we're all going to get in the faces of all these black hats, all these people, and expose them. And just say, look, we're getting ahead of you. We're getting a few steps ahead of you here. And you can't get away with this stuff anymore. We know how you roll. We know about false flag operations. We know what you're trying to do. We know your agenda. We know Agenda 21. We know about the Georgia Guidestones now. You Kissinger types, Brzezinski types, you openly write about these things. You openly speak about these things. Depopulation. You know, your Bill Gates class, your Ted Turner class, all these people, these hypocrites. You know, he's got 5 kids, but, you know, if he could, he'd have the way like China, you know, go to 1 kid policy. Otherwise, forced abortion. I mean, these people are monsters. All these people, they're all the same group as far as I'm concerned. The people that run China, the people that are running, you know, the New World Order crowd, this ISIS, all these people are in cahoots as far as I'm concerned. And we've got to understand just how far we've fallen in this country. Things are bad, folks. We've got to understand this thing could work, but it's going to require us getting deadly serious and understand the implications if we don't do anything and have to answer to God. That's like answering to yourself. That's answering to your conscience and saying, look, you had a chance to be somebody, to really be somebody, to be a friend to humanity. That's all. Just being a friend is the most beautiful thing any of us could do to one another. Just be each other's friend. And so my will for you has to be the same as the will that I would have for myself. It doesn't mean anybody's losing individuality here in terms of equality. To understand that you're equally loved. This isn't a matter that's decided by men, this matter of equality. This is decided by God, by the love of God, which is the greatest, the only true possession we can ever have. Okay? This is valuable. This is treasure. And that's what we got to get. We got to get the right treasures. Get away from what we've been indoctrinated to believe. That, you know, no, that, you know, that guy does, he lacks common sense. He's a pipe dreamer. He's an idealist. Crazy, you know what I mean? No, be pragmatic. Have common sense. Value what we've taught you to value. Value what you learned in the colleges and universities. Value the fact that you were born into aristocracy. Okay? Value just going out and making a lot of money. Being successful as we define it. Okay? You understand what we've got to do here, folks. We've really got to wake up collectively and individually and, you know, take the blue pill and, you know, put the glasses on like, you know, what is it? They Live, the movie. You know, really, you know, realize this is a real life horror show. But the good news is that good has prevailed. It just, evil has not relented yet. It's still got all this pent up, I don't know what it is, just pent up wickedness, just animosity toward the Spirit of God. I don't know how else you can define it. It's insane. You know, it's this mad world where you got these evil geniuses, these mad scientists and whatnot running roughshod over humanity. It's been going on for thousands of years. And God, for whatever purpose, this way He is, when we question God, say, well, why are you so patient? Why are you so restrained? What are we saying? That God doesn't have a right to decide when He loses His cool? And, you know, to try to raise us up to His level and understanding this whole love your enemy and how all heaven rejoices over one sinner that repents more than over 99 righteous people that don't even need to repent. We've got to understand what's going on here is divine and cosmic. This thing is eternal. We're part of this whole thing. There's going to be a part of everybody, even the wicked, that lives on forever. So there's no easy out for any of us. We're all stuck between this rock and a hard spot, and we've all got to get with that program and understand that we've got to confront the issue. We've got to be very clear in our mind what we need to do. We need to gain control over the currency. We need to gain control over our economy. We need to demand accountability. We cannot have evil forces, evil entities in charge of the money printing. They can't be trusted. They're like these murderous, spoiled brats running the candy shop. And all they want to do is grab as much candy, show you you're stupid for ever having the ethics and moral and believing anybody else ever could live by that credo. You're a fool in their minds. Isn't that what they project? Isn't that what they're telling us by their actions? They're up there smiling. The light in their eyes is darkness. It's death. It's evil. Jesus talked about these things. And they're trying to convince you that that's the way to follow. This is where the whole mark of the beast is. It's in your thought system. Which side are you on? When the chips are down and you got to decide right this moment which side you're on. What will you decide? Because it's all coming down. And we're all going to have to decide that. And we're going to stand before God individually on our own with no excuses. None of us. No more rationalizing. No more psychobabble. We will answer for the person we decided to be. And, you know, we've got to all decide that on our own. And, you know, it depends on what kind of reward you get or what kind of a penalty you get. And penalty is just having to look yourself in the mirror and saying, look, you know, I didn't stand up. I didn't speak against this. So My indifference, my complacency was a stamp of approval by not doing anything. That's it. There's no other way to look at this thing. Because you know, if you don't at least confront it, it doesn't mean you're going to succeed at changing it. But it means you're getting in the fray. You're putting your 2 cents in. You're on record now that you are opposed to the establishment. You're opposed to the status quo. Okay? That you are in favor of everybody. I mean, is it okay to be on everybody's side? This is the question we've got to ask ourselves.